like the nitty-gritty gameplay mechanics, guys, are in Japan. I'm not saying that being again, I talk about the Sonic Unleashed. Sonic's a global character, a multinational character, who is the result of unity between East and West development philosophies, which is one of the best things about him that no one ever talks about. This is like, again, to me, these complaints that I hear from people are just completely based on an ignorance and misunderstanding of what the development process behind these games and how it even works. Which is why I'm more confused by it than anything. Like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Nothing in this game got put in without the guys who make the game's approval. It's not like the writers, whatever their names are, I should look that up, are just putting in whatever they want and are just ruining the character or whatever. Which is dumb, by the way. You can't have Sonic be out of character unless you have him kissing a princess. I mean, here they are complaining that Sonic's out of character. Guess what? Hard to get more out of character than Sonic 06, which you can't blame anyone else but Sonic Team for that one. And that's literally the worst it has ever been or will ever be. So, priorities, people. I'll take him saying Baldy McNosehair over kissing a princess any day of the goddamn week of the year. Trying to concentrate a little bit. Yeah, I don't get those yeah, they just strike me as bizarre. Because I'm playing it, and I'm watching the cutscenes, and I'm going, this is pretty funny! Like, I think it's great! It appeals to my sense of humor, because guess what? I have that thing where I'm in touch with my inner child, and I can appreciate funny shit. Even though it's not like, oh, so... The same people who, complain about Shadow the Hedgehog being too dark and edgy go, oh, why is this children's franchise being written for children? Why isn't all dark and adult and mature? Anyway. I'm having this weird issue where I can't even work up, vindictive anger at the complaints that come to mind that I hear people say about this game, because I just don't understand them. Like, what planet are you from? Like, the things you're talking about are really stupid. So just fucking, yeah, whatever. Another thing that they complain about is the wisps. I don't get that. Seems like pretty standard, video game power-up justification to me. Like, maybe they want the elemental shields to return? I don't understand the motivation behind their complaints. I don't have a problem with the wisps. I didn't even know the wisps were a thing that people complained about. Once again, these complaints that I have heard people say against this game are very new to me. Because I'm not a communal person. I pretty much stay out of, communities in general. Because people are the worst. That's why in the previous games videos I've done, I've mostly just been talking about those people who shit on Sonic, because they're not in any kind of community, they're just... yeah, anyway. So that's why, when I started looking into it, which I wanted to do, because I wanted to look up stuff to talk about for these videos, and started seeing people voicing complaints about the writing and other stuff about this game, I was genuinely bewildered. Like, what are you talking about? It's funny, and it's entertaining, and not out of character at all. How is that even a thing? Once again, right there at the beginning of the game, I don't know what's going on, but I know what I'm gonna do. Sounds like Sonic the Hedgehog to me. Look before you leap. I don't show off, don't criticize, I'm just living by my own feeling. I won't give in, will compromise, I just got a steadfast heart of gold. Sounds like they nailed it. I don't know. What do I... Ah, come on. Like, I don't want to, like, toot my own horn or anything like that, but I feel like I'm one of the more qualified people. Gotta slow your roll. I feel like I'm one of the more qualified people to talk about writing in Sonic games. Because as you may have observed throughout the course of these videos, I think about this shit way too much and way too hard. I literally stopped dead and had like a 10-minute discussion about the Echidna Empire and how it related back to things that were set up in a 2D 16-bit Genesis game. And I spent the entire Shadow the Hedgehog playthrough talking about how that game explored and developed his character. And the difference between a character with internal conflict and external conflict. Like, I talk about the writing in Sonic games with some reasonable degree of educated and informed insight. So I feel like, again, of all people, I feel like I'm one of the more reasonably qualified to discuss the writing when it comes to Sonic games. And I have never conceived of there being a problem with the writing. Damn it! With the writing in this game. So I literally don't even see what their complaints are. Like, oh, is that a character? No? I mean, Sonic's character is pretty fucking rock simple. He's pretty one-dimensional when you get right down to it. What you see is what you get. Just a guy that loves adventure. And as I further asserted, he's like a character action protagonist. He's cocky and self-assured and never say die, devil may care attitude. Again, feel like the game, like, I don't not see him acting that way. But it's had this weird thing whenever you see people say, like, how to fix Sonic the Hedgehog. And it's always in regards to the story. Apparently, the Sonic games have perfect gameplay, and there's not anyone bad to say about the gameplay. It's only the story. The story is the only thing that's wrong with Sonic. Have characters get killed off, let's explore dark, mature themes. By the way, Shadow the Hedgehog. Just weird double standards. One of the weirdest things ever when it comes to people complaining about Sonic is the double standards that go into it. Into their dismissals of Sonic that, again, you could say about any other franchise, but when it's Sonic, it ruins the whole game. I love those little before the stage begins animations of him getting ready to go. Some of them are really fun and cute, where he'll like do stretches. Anytime I see Sonic doing like pre-run stretches, I always find that really adorable for reasons. Because I always remember that like that Running Day comic. I don't know if you'd necessarily call it a comic. Like that drawing of like International Running Day, and they had a little cartoon drawings with Sonic, showing him doing little warm-up stretches, and it was just the cutest little thing that you ever could see. So now, whenever I think of Sonic doing warm-up stretches, it's just the best thing and makes me really happy. There's one cutscene in particular that I'm just gonna flip the fuck out over when we get to that point. Fuck you guys. I don't remember if I mentioned this in the Sonic Heroes videos, because that's where, whoa.
Orange with a green wisp or the air soaring hover form. Use rings to fly faster.
Look at that level design right there. They knew, and they stopped you. That's one of the cool things about this game's level design, is they really mitigate a lot of the problems that Sonic's kind of always had. And a lot of the issues that Sonic Unleashed had with its bottomless pit syndrome. Once again, this game... Oh no! That'll happen. It tackles the same thing, like, it does that thing I mentioned where it's, coming up with creative solutions to problems for lack of an infinite amount of resources to work with. God damn it. There we go. But it's still expanding on the same, design blueprint. God damn everything in the world that has happened that we live in. That Sonic Unleashed threw down. I don't like comparing it necessarily to Sonic 2, but Sonic 2 really was like this leaps and bounds improvement over Sonic 1. If you... I can't make it show back up. But one of the things they added in this game is whenever, you're gonna be at risk of a bottomless pit, they'll add that little caution sign. Damn it. They'll add that little, caution sign at the bottom of the screen, like a little yellow caution logo. To be like, bottomless pit coming up, watch yourself. That's helpful. I appreciate that. Thank you. Fine, about time. Of course it's a platforming game, so you're gonna have to have bottomless pits. But they finally came up with a simple, elegant solution for that problem that we've always had with Sonic, which is, hey, gonna be bottomless pits. Watch out for that. So now if you fall in a bottomless pit, you can't be like, oh, that's bullshit. What was I supposed to do? How was I supposed to know? What the F? Put a little warning sign there. Hey, there's a bottomless pit showing up. Oh, I know there's going to be a bottomless pit now. So if I fall into the bottomless pit, I have no one to blame but myself. Because I had ample warning that there would be a bottomless pit. So I'm going to avoid that bottomless pit and watch my ass. And if I fall in, that was my bad, because I knew it was there. And I didn't just suddenly fall into it with no warning, like would happen in Sonic Unleashed all the fucking time. Constantly. 90% of my deaths in that game that weren't Eggman Land related were falling in the bottomless pits. And again, I don't necessarily like comparing it to Sonic 2, but in the same way Sonic 2 took everything that Sonic 1 fucked up at and fixed it, this game's taking everything that Sonic Unleashed fucked up at and is fixing it. While kind of going its own way at the same time, which is always really fun and interesting, is Sonic Team never just takes... I don't want to say, lazy is way too harsh a term, but they never take the easy way out. They never do the conventional, easy thing to do, which would be make the same game again, but polish off those rough edges, right? They always take the opportunity of a new game to experiment and try new things. Instead of just doing the same old every single time, but just, iterating on the successes and failings of that former game with the new entry, it takes the time to actually, okay, we're gonna do that. Obviously, we're going to take those things and improve upon them. But at the same time, what else can we do? And throw your suggestions into the hat. And we're gonna try and do new, interesting things with this new entry into the series at the same time. And golly, do I love them for it. And in a funny way, the level designs in this game remind me a lot of Mario games level design. Which is appropriate because it's a Wii exclusive, it's on a Nintendo console. I think... Nah, probably not. But it is exclusively on a Nintendo console, so it makes sense to take some inspiration from the flagship Nintendo franchise, does it not? Look at these badniks. I love them. I want to finish that thought. I don't know if I mentioned it in the Sonic Heroes video, but I was never the biggest fan of the egg prawns, which are those little orange egg-shaped guys. I get the desire of wanting to have a foot soldier type of robot enemy the desire to have like a stormtrooper style enemy that like you could see coming off of the factory line, sort of. But I will just always prefer Badniks. I will. Oh, it's the worst thing that could happen. I've always, in my heart, prefer like the classic Badniks, and this game brings back some of the classic Badniks. We had the Motobugs earlier. We have those bomb-throwing motherfuckers from Chemical Plant Zone, stuck to the walls at random. We got always the classic. I'm pretty sure these guys are started off in Sonic Adventure, actually, which is pretty fun. These flying buzzsaw motherfuckers. God damn, I hate you guys from Chemical Plant Zone. I hated you then, and I hate you now. But it's nice to have the Badniks showing. Like, you can have your Egg Prawn style Foot Soldier, Stormtrooper style Eggman robots, but you can also have the Badniks in there. You can have your cake and eat it too. I don't see why you can't have both. Ah, no, little extra life, little extra one-up. God damn you, just spinning there, taunting me! Anyway. They always take the opportunity to try new things, and each of the levels has, like, a gimmick. Each of the levels has, like, a uniquely designed gimmick to it. And in a way you could say, like, it's not doing what you could arguably say is the better option, which is having each level in a stage slowly introduce new, mechanics to you and slowly improve on the difficulty of those mechanics with each level until you get to the last level of that stage and have it include all of the mechanics that you were taught in the most difficult way. Which some schools of thought would say like that's the correct way to do game design. But more, I feel it does kind of each level has a different gimmick. And they don't really feed into any kind of cohesive theme of the area. They just all kind of do a different thing with each level. And considering how many levels this game has, how many levels? It's 44. I think it might not be counting some of those levels, because they might not have rankings, but like this game has 44 levels in them. Some of them are really short, some of them are pretty long, but they're all unique. Like, no two levels are the same kind of level. They all have a different thing going for them. The boss fights, there are 4-ish, and they do repeat later on, but we'll get to that.
Indeed I could, but I'm right here behind this generator. That's it, Hedgehog. Stand there and be a nice little target.
Tails, is that you humming?
What?
Sonic, look out!
Tails, buddy?
He's my buddy now.
What have you done to him?
Me? I did nothing at all. Unless shooting him with my mind control beam that runs on alien energy counts is doing something to him. Does it?
Yeah, see, that's what I mean, where they can't end any line without a punchline. Look at this! The Tails keeping up! Look at him just, oh, I'm zipping zapping because I'm the fastest thing alive. No, I'm Tails, I'm gonna stand in front of you.
Enjoy it while you can!
Oh, I will. In fact, the only way to make this better would be to have you two fight.
Oh, Eggman, what are you, a hacky, uncreative comic book writer?
Wanna do this?
What was he gonna do?
Buddy, are you alright?
I'ma punch you, Sonic.
Why is my nose hair tingling?
Yeah, a little bit forced with the jokes per minute, but
Ran out of
minor flaw,
well,
I feel.
I'll get more. Lots more. And then I won't just control one little punk, but the whole universe. In the meantime, enjoy the park. I'll leave you your own private tour guide.
The evil Zeppelin.
Pay up, Tails. I told you he had an evil plot, and coming here was a good idea. There it is, straight from the horse's mouth.
We didn't bet.
Dang.
Have fun storming the castle. Oh, I like that cutscene though. That's not the one I was talking about, but hold on.
Chase that ship down, then start wailing away.
Whaling!
Just keep an eye on those machine guns.
Ironic, because the blimps are shaped to look like whales. I like that cutscene though, because it kind of leads into one of the things I want to talk about, which is Tails' character in this. And I think that's one of the funner things in this series that I always like, is they never kind of walk back on their character development. By that I mean, like, this game, it's just Sonic and Tails, classic dynamic duo, the unbreakable bond, Sonic and Tails. Once again, without any of the other characters spawning it up. Spawning. Missed out on the opportunity there. And I feel it's the best new exploration, the best examination of their new dynamic. Can I? Nah, didn't quite get it. Of their new dynamic, because obviously, as we can see, Tails isn't exactly running around keeping up with him, flying behind him throughout the levels anymore, like he did in the good old days, right? Damn everything. What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Unleashed. I'm still a little bit on Unleashed mode. God damn it. It's the dynamic duo again. It's the unbreakable bond again, but Tails isn't following him around trying to keep up with him throughout the levels anymore like he was back in the good old days. And that's because their dynamics since those days has changed. Here we go. Once again, using the Wisp on a boss fucking obliterates it to a ridiculous degree. Like, if you want to end these boss fights fast, that's how you go about it. That's one of the best things about how their relationship has changed, is Tails isn't the kid sidekick desperately trying to keep up with Sonic. Isn't the kid sidekick trying to keep up with Sonic and idealizing him and holding him up as this role model that he wants to try to emulate. No. After Sonic Adventure 2, Tails has realized, I'm gonna go my own way. I'm gonna believe in myself and do things my own style instead of trying to emulate Sonic's style. He's gonna do the things that only he can do. And isn't gonna be concerned with trying to follow in Sonic's footsteps. So, like, that's one reason Tails isn't following around Sonic throughout the levels anymore, is his character development throughout the series is just... that's not something that he's interested in doing anymore. He's gonna do his own thing, which is hanging back, playing support, and being the smart guy. Like, leave the action-y running around, kicking ass stuff to Sonic. Everything that isn't running, that's Tails' department. He's gonna do all the smart guy stuff. Because that's what his character is now. He's not the gosh shucks kid sidekick. He's an equal partner on the same level as Sonic. And instead of trying to keep up, he is running alongside him on a different path through life. And in, like, the things Sonic can't do, that's what Tails does. The things Tails doesn't, like... he's come to this realization where, like, that's not something that interests him. That's not something he wants to do. He wants to do his own thing now. So Sonic can take care of the thing he's always been able to take care of while he's been trying to keep up with him. And he can contribute in his own way. They're equal partners. They're in a very real way, they're life partners. Not hero and sidekick, life partners. They stand on equal levels with each other now. Like, one is good at one thing and the other is good at something else. And it's only by working together and combining their abilities that they're able to accomplish way more than they were ever able to before. And that's another reason, like, there's two reasons. One of the reasons is character development, and the second reason Tails isn't running around trying to keep up with Sonic anymore is because I don't think Tails can keep up with Sonic anymore. But I'll talk more about that later. I like how somehow beating the bosses is turning those things off.
Hey, Sonic, did you give the guide your complaint?
Oh, I gave it to him pretty good. Sup, Yacker?
Hi, your buddy.
Did you get any more info?
Oh, Sonic, just immediately making friends with everyone and everything after 2 words.
Stealing for a mind control weapon.
Learned that one the hard way.
Do you know how Eggman is getting all these aliens?
Yeah. At first I thought that Yacker was talking about how Baldy Nosehair was using burps to do it.
He is pretty gassy. Maybe the smell would knock him out? I don't know, something doesn't seem right with that.
That's what I said. It made no sense. Then I made a tiny adjustment and realized he was saying generators.
So, no burps. Well, that's a relief.
Tell me about it.
Some of them work on me.
Using 5 tractor beam generators to hold their planet in orbit while he scoops the aliens all up.
Hold a whole planet?
Well, it's tiny, but still, yeah.
Yeah, he's never done that before.
5 generators? Well, I've already leveled 2.
So, if my math is correct, that leaves us 3 more of those bad boys to take out.
Nobody said there'd be math, but I'm with you, buddy.
We should get moving. Yacker says the aliens don't have much time.
Once I start moving, I don't need much time.
Yeah, I can't imagine any other voice actor besides Mike Pollock doing Eggman. Okay, that's a weird one. Sonic's World. Why is he saying that? Because the writers of this game didn't know anything about Sonic. That's one of the things the fandom complains about with the writing in this game is the Happy Tree Friends guys, whatever their names are, admitted that they weren't Sonic fans and they hadn't, jokes per minute, hadn't played any of the Sonic games before. They just like looked up cutscenes or whatever. And for the most part, I don't think that's a big deal. It's not like Sonic's very complicated or anything. You don't need, it's not like you need to explore the deep lore of the Echidna Empire. That really only interests weirdos like me.
I think that's the wrong chip.
Really? Are you sure he doesn't normally speak in pirate?
Only on Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Much more exotic now.
Just go find him and fix that chip!
Yeah, Orbot and Cubot, like, Sassybot is gone. He's not gone, it's the same robot. I will always assert this. But he's Orbot now, because he's an orb. And he has a new robot, Cubot, because he's a cube. And in this much more, they're kind of like a 2-man comedy duo. Like straight man and wise guy kind of routine. And for the most part, I don't think that's a big deal, but that was one of the weird things, is Eggman describes it as, quote-unquote, Sonic's world. That's weird. It's just Earth. Like, it's just the planet. It's not... Like, thank God they didn't use the word fucking Mobius. I swear to God, I would have lost my shit. But... I mean, the last game in the series, you were traveling around Sonic's world, aka the planet Earth, or whatever you want to call it, not Mobius. But for I guess maybe they might have thought Sonic and Earth are 2 different things, so he's calling it Sonic's world. I don't know, but that's like one line of dialogue that's a little out of place for me. But aside from that, I think they did fine. I mean, It's a simple little Saturday morning cartoon plot that feels appropriate to me. I don't see what the big deal is.